Welcome back. Now, a word about my interview yesterday with Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who joined me to discuss the budget battle. Democracy is messy. Matt Gaetz is an important voice in the process. House leadership, Speaker Kevin McCarthy, is also an important voice in the process. My show, Sunday Morning Futures, is an important part of the process because we are searching for truth and always will. Our platform matters. I tried yesterday to lay out the issues around the budget battle. Congressman Gaetz' attacks on the Speaker and the GOP's reaction to Joe Biden's bad policies. In a nutshell, Matt Gaetz said we should have separate single-subject spending bills. McCarthy is also pushing to get individual subject bills through, but collectively those bills add up to the same spending number that we were spending at the top of the COVID emergency. Matt Gaetz is pushing for individual bills to come in with a cut in spending year over year. The way to fix this is to give all of those bills a major haircut. The problem is we knew this date was coming. Why weren't these bills done before this week? I still questioned why Republicans can't get on the same page. Why move to a government shutdown and attack the Speaker of the House, blow up the House effectively, undermining the work that they've already done? But Congressman Gaetz came back saying we can't govern the way we have in the past. We are spending $7 trillion a year, but we're taking in just $5 trillion. The spending must be cut. He also questioned how serious Republicans are about investigating Joe Biden when, in fact, we still have yet to see a subpoena of Hunter Biden. Good point. I'm very proud of the interviews conducted. This Sunday, I posed the right questions, tough questions, to Matt Gaetz, who took on those questions and answered them with practical ideas. He did well, as did my other guests, Jim Jordan, Mark Levin, Mike Lee, and Larry Elder. My priority was to give Matt Gaetz a fair shot. He's calling for action from Speaker McCarthy. He didn't seem to care if the government shut down or not. After all, this is the government, by the way, who gave the IRS bullets, and the government which has been weaponized against American citizens. Governments shut down all the time. In fact, Mark Levin told me that in the 8 years that he worked for the Reagan administration, the government shut down 6 times. So what?
I think we ought to fight on all fronts. I think the border is very important. And the best way for us to advance the Republican border policies is to pass the Department of Homeland Security appropriations bill, do that along with veterans, defense, ag, state and foreign ops. We'll have 73% of the discretionary budget funded. And if, the Department of Labor and Education have to shut down for a few days as we get their appropriations in line, that's certainly not something that is optimal. But I think it's better than continuing on the current path we are to America's financial ruin.
Yes, it may seem like chaos at the end of the day, but lawmakers are trying to stop the Democrats' wild spending, which has caused massive inflation. Some have specific priorities, such as no more money to government agencies who turn their ire against their political enemies, like Jack Smith's investigation into President Trump. Others want to stop the money sent to Ukraine until the U.S. border is secure. And most want to ensure the Department of Defense is funded in a more dangerous world, again, in the face of Biden's foreign policy. Democracy is messy. Yeah, I understand your point, and that's the point I was trying to make yesterday when I spoke with Matt Gaetz. Why blow up the wins and the victories that we've seen so far in the GOP? Why attack the Speaker? But at the same time, my thinking is evolving here. I don't know that a government shutdown is all that big of a deal, actually. If they can get 4 appropriations bills done this week or 3 appropriations bills done this week, which, of course, is a high order, we could actually see a majority of the government funded. After all, the DOD budget is $826 billion. That's a huge portion of the discretionary spending right there, 70% or so. So if you could get the bulk of these bills that they're talking about funded this week, you actually could talk about just a partial government shutdown. Mark Levin joined me yesterday and said during his 8 years in the Reagan administration, actually the government shut down 6 times. And so, we'll see. The problem, Mark Tepper, is that everybody has their own priorities. One priority, and I think this is a really important question to ask, why have we sent $113 billion to the Ukraine border and we haven't sent a dime to our own border?
I think people are beginning to wake up to the fact that the government spends money erratically and that they're not doing a good job of really maintaining their own purse.
Yeah, and that is why Matt Gaetz, Florida congressman, wants to do single spending bills. And that is the question that keeps coming up. Why aren't these bills done now? We knew that September 30th was coming.